Hey guys, it's your boy Big Wheel Dog 82 in the soil, and there's no nice cinematic intro to this one because this one we're getting down and dirty because I need to get this done. Now, I've been waiting so long now to get my onions in the dirt or the soil, and today is that day. And we're also going to be checking in on the garlic because why not? They're right there, right next to where some of the onions are going to go. Plus, there's just something else that we have to discuss, and it has to do with some people that are trying to come after your boy here. We'll get into that though, but I promise you it's important, and I'm going to need your guys' help, especially for Team Airmen. But more on that later. Let's get into this. Alright guys, so here we are. It's finally the time to get started on my onions. And this is my wicking bed. And I'm planning on using this for other things too throughout the season. So the plan here is to use the ends of each end of this tote here to plant onions in. So we're going to put one on one end, we're going to put a different variety on a different end, and the first thing we got to do is move this mulch. Now, I plan on amending this entire tub, but for right now, I'm just going to amend exactly where I'm going to plant these onions at, because that's all I really need to worry about right now. Now, this really does need to be brought up some, so what I'm probably going to end up doing is taking some of this soil and pulling it over here on the side for this one, from this half, and then I'm going to do the same thing over there. I will not make you guys sit through both sides. We'll just be doing how I'm setting up this side and what's going to be done. So, first thing, like I said, is adding amendments to this side first. So I'm gonna go ahead and break this up a little bit, and over here next to me outside of the frame of the camera, you can't really see it right now, I've already got some of my sifted compost from my 2 trash cans that are filled with compost that have been maturing since last year. So we're going to add a good amount of that in here before we do much anything else. Now, I've sifted it, yes, but it's not like finely sifted. And that's fine, because all this is going underneath the soil surface, and it's going to be feeding the onions as they grow. And this typically ends up being very high in nitrogen for me. I'm not trying to brag or nothing like that. It always ends up coming out high on the nitrogen. But even though that's the case, we're still going to be adding some things that add some nitrogen to it. So, first thing we're going to be adding is some worm castings. Again, these are the ones I make here myself for my 3 worm farms that I have, and it comes in really handy because this is fresh castings. They haven't been sitting for months and months. I just harvested probably about a week ago, and these are fine sifted. I probably could use my rough overs that I haven't in there too, but this is just what I grabbed first. And then we're going to also add a little bit of granular organic fertilizer into here. Alright, that's good enough. Then we're going to mix it up, and then after we mix it up, I'm just going to take some of the soil that hasn't been amended and put it on top. So we're mixing. Now, the thing I love about this wicking bed, or this wicking tote, is the fact that all I have to do is open up these little caps on the end of the tubes here, to check to see if there's water in them, and if there's not, I add water. If there is water, I do nothing, because the plants decide how much water they need, and that's what they take. Which makes this not necessarily a completely effort-free endeavor, but it certainly does help when it comes to, you know, giving the plants what they need. Alright, so that's all mixed up now, so we're going to take some of this soil from the side here, because we're going to be adding compost, basically doing the exact same thing I just did to just this side. We're going to be doing it all over the bed. So here we go. Probably should have took all the straw out of here before I got started, but there's actually worms. People will also say that worms, like composting worms, will not survive in containers during the winter. All of these worms that are in this container here came from my worm bin, from castings that I purposely didn't sift within an inch of their life. So there was probably cocoons and some baby worms or whatever, but there are worms that I'm coming across in here, and that's a good thing. That means I got a little bit of help in this bed here to break down the amendments that I add to it. Alright, so we're good. We're pretty much level. I'm going to pull this straw back for right now. So, on this end, the kind that we're going to do is, I'm going to do this one because I have a tag already for it. This is candy onions, and these are my plugs. So what I'm going to probably end up doing is do, I don't know, maybe 4 in here on this side, because I still want a whole lot, because I still got to put in my watermelon tower in here later on in the summer. But by the time I add that, it'll be after I add my pepper plants in this other bed over here. So hopefully it won't be a problem. If it is, I guess it'll be a problem for future Willie, not current Willie. And you know the one thing I forgot that's very, very important? A stick to pop these out. So I'm gonna run and get that real quick, and I'll put you guys on pause. All right, we got a popsicle stick here. Now, since these are plugs, all I gotta do is loosen up the sides a little bit, and there we go. Boom. Now, this may not look like a whole lot, but it really is. It makes it so simple. Tease those roots out a little bit like that. Then we take our hands. I should have my gloves, but guess what? I am a lifetime member of the Dirty Fingernail gang. So we're gonna take it, just pop it in there right there, cover it in. I don't have to worry about the depth. I don't have to worry about nothing because it's already preset. Just fill it into the level where it was at, and she's in. We're gonna go ahead and do some more. So that's one. Loosen up the sides. Actually, let's do this one. Loosen up the sides a little bit. Excuse me. Pop her out. We got those roots. Tease those roots apart a little bit. Makes another hole. Put her in. It couldn't be simpler with plugs. I love the plugs. I don't have to think. I don't have to guess. I know exactly where it needs to be. And even if I do come in here and I add a little bit more soil and compost to it to level it up, I've got enough space here where I could probably add about another inch without getting to the point of impeding the onion growth at all. That's what I said. That's 2. Teasing the roots out again. space, plopping it in. Now, I mentioned the dirty fingernail gang, and it actually is a thing. It's not even my creation. One of the Coast to Coast crews has basically made his own little group thing on his channel, and his name is Doug, aka the Croc Gardener. And we've got a lot to talk about the Croc Gardener here in just a minute. As soon as I finish planting, I said 4, I lied, I'll do 5 here. After I get done planting the last couple of these onions here. But yeah, I already asked him about, the dirty fingernail gang, and he confirmed that yes, I am already a lifetime member of the dirty fingernail gang. So while that makes me happy, I am included in said group. It brings up a couple of issues that we must discuss here in a second, and it relates to the garlic. Trust me, when we get there, you will understand exactly my plight. Alright, we got our last one, and boom, couldn't have been easier. And like I said, snap, I grabbed the wrong kind. No surprise at all. Alright, let's talk about dirty fingernail gang. So here we go with the whole dirty fingernail gang thing, and why I said we had to have a talk. See, the guy Doug, that sounds like a pretty friendly name. That's what I would think, right? But then he goes by the name Croc Gardener. And you know what a crocodile is? It just sits there and waits patiently and then ambushes the very first thing that comes across its way with no abandon, just all up in it, right? That's kind of how the Croc Gardener is. That's how he operates. Now, yeah, we had a garlic challenge last year, and while I would like to say that everybody played by the rules, guess who did not? Yep, that would be the Croc. Cut his stuff a little too long, but because I'm a nice guy, I have to say I'm a nice guy, I let him take the win. He took the win away from who? Oh, me. But we're not bitter. Anyways, he has basically taken this thing that started out as a competition between me and Chad over at Down Home Backyard Gardening and kind of become a 3-way war. And I don't know what we're gonna call his team, but it's okay, because guess what? I think I figured it out. It's Team Marine versus Team Airman versus Team Croc. You're not on Team Marine or Team Airman, guess what? Looks like you're on Team Croc. That means I'm going to be suspect of every last one of y'all. I love you, but I'm going to be suspect. Now, on that front, no, you know what? No, it's Team Dirty Fingernail. There we go. Hashtag Team Dirty Fingernail is Doug's team. So let's come get it. I'm going to play fair. Pretty sure Chad's going to play fair. Are you going to play fair, Croc? We'll see. But now, let's take a look at some of the garlic while we're out here. Now, as you can see, my garlic is coming along very, very well. These beauties are doing their thing. And yeah, I can already hear not only contender, but what is that? Winners. Of course you all are winners, and you have other brothers and sisters around the house. So Yeah. But you know what? Let's check the GreenStalk now, because we've got more over there, and that is another part of the challenge this year, is growing them in a GreenStalk or any kind of raised tower thing you want to use. There's so many of them, so that gives nobody an excuse. I don't have a GreenStalk. Any kind of a tower system, whatever, works too. But we're going to check out what I've got in mind. As you can see here, we are off and running with this challenge. And yes, we got a little one here that may or may not make it, but that's not really anything to worry about, because we have all these others. And we only need one big garlic out of here to win, because that's all we have to pull is one large garlic out of this tower to make, you know, the dream of winning a reality. So, with that being said, please, any of you who have any kind of a tiered, you know, planter that you can grow things in, if you've thrown garlic into yours already, guess what? You can be in on the challenge as a contestant. So if you need to, I'll have the challenge video rules down in the description. All you have to do is click the link. It'll take you right to the challenge. So, come on everybody. Let's play. Alright, as you can see, we've got both sides planted, covered back up with straw. Now, even though this is a bottom watering setup, I'm still going to water them in. That's good enough. And there you have it. They are done in the wicking tub. Now, I'm going to take you guys in the back. We're going to get some pots done too, just because I have other onions that I want to plant besides just the candy and the caliber. As you guys are about to see, the wind is picked up, so I'm hoping that there's not too much choppiness from the wind while I'm recording this, but we're going to give it a go anyway. So in here, I'm only going to put one onion, and you might be asking yourself, why just one onion in this size of a pot? Well, because I have these Alyssa Craig onions here, supplied to me by Robin Gardens. Thank you, Robin. And what I've already done is I've already teased one out. So we got roots and everything. But I still got to amend this soil first. So we're going to take off the thick mulch that I put down here. And this is exactly what we did over in the wicking bed. There's nothing, oh look, see? Told you, worms. This is why I love having a worm farm. And this bucket here was a failed garlic experiment. As you can see, dead garlic. You know what? I gotta get rid of that so my dogs don't try to eat it. There's probably some more in there too. So, same thing as we did before is I gotta get my shovel. Okay, so we got our shovel now, and we're gonna dig out a good bit of this just to loosen it up mainly, but also so we can add our amendments into the soil, which, if I'm not mistaken, should already be pretty well amended already, but I'm a stickler for repeating what works. So there we go. Compost. And then we're going to add some organic granular. And it really doesn't matter what granular brand you buy or use. It really doesn't matter. Worm castings, just because I have them. Again, if you don't have a worm farm or a worm bin yet, you should probably get in on that, because it's a beautiful thing. And now we're gonna mix. Pull some of that on top. We'll put it up to the side. And you know what? just because I'm feeling a little froggy, I'm gonna go ahead and put in 2 of these in here. So it means I'm gonna have to put the first one in that I've already teased out, which is this one, and then I'll show you how I teased out the second one. So stick all your roots in. Anybody who's gardening, you know, you gotta get the roots in, get it down. There you go. Got an onion planted. You don't want to go too far up the stem though, because it could impede the onion when it finally starts the bulb up. But we could also do something about that, but we'll have to worry about that later when and if it's needed. So we got that one done. Now I'm going to show you how I teased out. So I'm going to pop these back out again. And you see we got all these roots. I'm going to just try to pick one of the ones that are on the edge that look like this one's a decent sized one. So we're just going to, it's okay if you break some roots off. Onions are pretty forgiving. There we go. This one's got even more roots than that one. And then we stick this, we stick it right back into the pot. Then we take our onion, do exactly like we did the first one, stick the roots down in there, and there we go. Now I'm going to pack down this soil pretty firmly just to make sure everything's nice and stable, and then we're going to water in. Nice and stable, looks like it. We're gonna put this mulch back on too. I don't know, that might be a little bit chancing it. I don't think we're gonna get too huge Alyssa Craigs. I think as big as these onions can get, this might be trying to squeeze too much into one pot. But yellow, right? Alrighty, almost done, guys. And there we have it. Onions planted and ready to go. So let me go get the water bucket and we'll water these in, and then we'll get to the close. Here's the water bucket. Water these puppies in. The soil was already pretty moist, but this is just a good measure thing. And we're not going to worry about it. They're going to look a little bit sad for a little bit, but then they'll perk right up and it won't be no problem. So there you guys have it. Planting onions out. I'm obviously going to get quite a bit more of those in. This year I'm putting some in my raised bed. I might stick some in my green stalks. I don't know, it's up in the air. There's other spots here and there where I can easily take those plugs, or even those ones that aren't in plugs that I have to just, you know, tease them out of the soil and plant them in. So if you've got onions, get them in. And if you don't, you can still buy sets, which are basically 1-year onions that are just small. They bolt more readily than ones done by seed, but that's an option for you if you really want onions to grow and you don't already have your own starts. Also, remember, Team Marine, Team Airman, and Team Dirty Fingernails. Pick one. I mean, you can still be in rep yourself, but y'all know that you want to be on the winning team, which is hashtag Team Airman. But I'm not trying to be conceited. There's a real chance I could lose, and I'm trying not to let that happen. But guess what? We'll find out. So please join hashtag garlic 2026 if you have garlic in the ground. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's invited. And all of the instructions can be found in the video in the description. That is hashtag garlic 2026. For now, I'm your boy, Big Wheel Dog 82, in the soil. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.